I'm excited to be here today and hope you guys are too. Again, thank you, Cigniti. We are excited to host you guys. We're very excited that you are partners with us. And I will tell you, given how much has happened over the last couple of years around the world, it seems like it's been eons since we last got together in Miami, but it was only 2 years ago that we last heard from Cigniti this week in Miami, and we heard from them and a couple of their select clients. And since then, Cigniti's actually dramatically expanded their geographic reach, their depth of offerings, diversified their global client base and domain expertise, enhanced their intelligent and integrated Blue Swan platform, and exponentially grown the reach of their impactful corporate social responsibility initiatives, actually positioning themselves for an even stronger partnership with clients, prospects, the global community, as well as ISG. Working closely with them over the last couple of years, as many of you, I can say it's evident that Cigniti's focused energy, boundless passion, and relentless enthusiasm, and those are key things in this day and age. They're expert listeners, innovators, and ideators, and the expertise they bring in relation to digital assurance means higher quality engineering services and much, much faster speed to market, which is also a key part in helping clients truly accelerate their digital journey. The bottom line is, what does all this mean to ISG? It means powerful partnering opportunities, increased advocacy as we go through the next couple of hours today, and our continued collective confidence that Cigniti will indeed surpass every demanding client expectation. We're eager to hear their updates from today, but first, let's take a look at this.
Not many years ago, Cigniti was born. With passion and a unique ability to visualize what we could become, what we would become, we dreamt. Without any fear or hesitation, we truly had audacious goals. And so we started. Our dream attracted more dreamers, and together we built capabilities, IP, experience, and the Cigniti family. We worked relentlessly and passionately. We got knocked down, and we stood right back up. And when we achieved one of our audacious goals of $100 million in revenue, we celebrated. And we wished to give back to the community and uplift the underprivileged. Through in-depth experiences with clients around the globe, we learned how the world is experiencing change. And we adapted to the change by thinking big, shifting gears, and adapting swiftly. We take pride in assuring the digital next of our clients as they build a better future for the world in which we live. With a quality-first mindset, we also design, architect, engineer, and build. We are a partner who assures digital experiences and delivers value at scale. We accelerated the digital transformation of enterprises that launched the pioneering digital-only challenger bank, delivered anything to your doorstep, enabled transactions of $3 billion a day, built a more sustainable tomorrow by doing more with waste, brought inclusivity into fintech with blockchain, embarked on an innovative journey to improve lives. While the world continues to change, while our clients continue to change, our core will not change. Our belief in our people and what we can do together for clients. Our passion to strive for audacious goals. Being nimble and hungry in bringing innovation in everything we do.
So with that, please join me in welcoming to the EPS 2022 stage here in Orlando, Cigniti's CEO, Srikanth Chakkilam.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, John, for the warm introduction. Good morning. It feels wonderful to be here in person, not on Zoom. And thank you, ISG, for giving us an excuse to come to Florida. And enjoying the warm weather. Also, firstly, I would like to congratulate ISG on a great journey, going from completing 15 years in the industry, going from no revenues, no contracts to $300 million, and also having an opportunity to ring the opening bell at NASDAQ. We hope that we get an opportunity someday, but for now we seek a lot of inspiration from you. Congratulations. I was here last time in 2020 at the Miami EPS. We had an opportunity to present a similar story. We also grew from no revenues, almost no revenues, to about $120 million. We became a specialized quality engineering company, the #1 quality engineering company in North America. That was when I met most of you at the 2020 EPS. Since then, a lot has changed. Obviously, with the advent of COVID, there's so many digital initiatives that the world has taken up, and Cigniti has capitalized on these digital initiatives. And based on some of the investments that we made into these digital initiatives, we have grown from a $120 million company to a $165 million company, with the headcount also growing from 2,500 people to 3,500 people. And what has not changed though is our approach and philosophy towards clients. We continue to be really passionate about solving our client problems. We have a highly engaged leadership team. What clients like about us is the access they get to the leadership team, the attention they get from the leadership team. That is something clients really appreciate, and this was actually demonstrated and told by a client in the previous EPS as well. Then we continue to be nimble and hungry. We are a very agile organization, and even when lockdowns were announced in several parts of the world in 2020, Cigniti was very agile, and we moved to work from home operations in a matter of 72 hours and seamlessly delivered our clients' deliverables. We are one of the very few companies who did that in that time frame. And we also had a lot of exposure to travel and hospitality pre-COVID. We had 27% exposure to our revenues in travel and hospitality, but we did a quick pivot into areas beyond our comfort zone and beyond quality engineering to get into areas such as medical device testing, and this has reaped rich benefits. Our growth rate has been 36% in the last 9 months, and we have beaten our peers multifold. And because of all the growth, we have added several new accounts, new logos into our kitty, both Fortune 500 and Global 2000, and also high-tech, cutting-edge high-tech companies. And you may ask, what do we do for these clients? When we started off with traditional testing services in the quality assurance space, but as the world moved more and more towards digital initiatives, companies wanting to become more agile and DevOps enabled, it was imperative that we put automation at the forefront, and test automation has become core to our offerings. More than 60% of our revenues come from test automation. And it is also important to be proactive than reactive, and we position ourselves as a quality engineering company. As more and more organizations are moving towards digital experiences, it is important to assure the digital outcomes for these organizations, and we have invested into several new offerings such as cloud migration assurance, 5G, IoT, RPA, and so on, and we are now positioned as a quality-first digital assurance company. And because of some of these initiatives, we have been recognized by ISG. Back in 2019, we were in the no man's land on the left side corner as a contender, and because of some of the initiatives that we have taken up, and thanks ISG for listening to us, we have progressed into the upper corner as a leader and as a rising star. Thank you, ISG. We also engage with other analyst firms, and we have similar positioning with the likes of Gartner, Forrester, Nelson Hall. I don't know if you like to hear the name, but just mentioning it. So let's start with our reach in terms of our clientele. We have our headquarters in Dallas, Texas, in the United States. We also have several offices in the United States, in King of Prussia, in San Francisco. We have a nearshore center in Canada, Toronto. Also, based on the unique and diverse needs of our clients, we have initiated an office space in Costa Rica and the Mexico region. We have a fairly large presence in India. We have a 2,500 seater back in Hyderabad, India, and we have several offices across the world. Last year we opened an office in Czech Republic for enabling nearshore operations for our European region. We have opened an office backed on demand again in the APAC region in Singapore. Just to give you a quick glimpse about some of the customers that we serve the largest retailer in the world. We also serve the largest retailer in the e-commerce space. We serve the largest quick serving restaurant chain, McDonald's. Thanks to ISG, we got introduced to McDonald's, and we worked with McDonald's in an ever-changing dynamic situation, and it is a good example of collaboration and partnership. We got in through an assessment, and we eventually converted that assessment into an automation project, and we will continue to make all the right investments to ensure that McDonald's is a strategic relationship for both ISG and Cigniti. We work with the largest low-cost carrier in the world, Southwest Airlines. Last year, the previous EPS, Jeff from Southwest was here to talk about his experience on working with Cigniti. We have been working with Southwest for the last 7 years, and I'm also glad to tell you that we have renewed another 3 years of contract with Southwest in a multi-vendor environment. And we do a lot of strategic testing work for Southwest. We also help them implement the largest ETL program ever taken up in the IT space, and also worked with several of the other vendors in the ecosystem. As I mentioned, we also have our medical device testing business booming, and several new accounts have been added. And in the pharma space especially, we've added clients like Abbott, Johnson & Johnson, Genentech Roche, which is the largest pharma company by revenue, where we are testing for their diabetes equipment. And we continue to work with some of the largest companies. The toy manufacturer Lego, we have been working with them for the last 11 years. And when we were working with them, they were the third largest company in the world in terms of toy manufacturing, but we tested a very strategic business unit tested for a strategic business unit, and we did an impeccable job in terms of ensuring the software quality is top notch, and that has been, we have got several testimonials from the client in terms of how it has impacted their revenues directly, and how it also helped them become one of the world's largest toy manufacturers. This is just to give you a glimpse of our customer reach. We have more than 250 customers worldwide. More than 50 plus customers are Fortune 500 accounts. And these customers, we have direct MSAs. These are not through vendors. Most of the, in fact, 95% of our accounts are direct MSAs with the clients. If you have to break it down by region, just a quick glimpse. We work with both public and private sector companies in Australia. We work with the likes of Toyota Motor Corporation and also the government of New South Wales. We work with MultiChoice, which is one of the largest cable TV providers and communications company based out of Johannesburg, South Africa. We have, we again work with both public and private sector companies in the Middle East, the Dubai airports and the Dubai Gold and Commodity Exchange. We started making inroads into the European market. Zurich is the latest addition into our insurance play. They have offices both, they're worldwide, but the headquarters out of Switzerland, and also we are working with their offices in Spain and the LATAM region. Skoda Volkswagen is a latest account as well. It is based on this account that we opened an office in the Czech Republic region UK continues to grow quite significantly. We've grown about 30% in the UK region alone in the last few months. And we work with both public and private sector companies in UK. Gatwick Airport, NHS, GlaxoSmithKline, Atom Bank. In fact, we have somebody speaking from Atom Bank later today. United States and Canada, this is our largest market. We have 83% of our revenues coming from this region. Just to give you a quick glimpse of some of the accounts that we work with, waste management is our largest account. We have grown this account from 3 to 300 people in the last 18 months, driving several of their digital initiatives. I already mentioned about Southwest, and how can I not talk about Caesars, which is again an introduction through the ISG team. We faced, it was the first engagement for Cigniti through ISG, and we faced initial set of challenges, but the important thing is we listened to the client, we listened to ISG and steered the ship in the right direction, and we will continue to make all the investments, continue to take up account-based initiatives and analyst days and advisory initiatives to ensure that this account is again strategic, both from a Cigniti standpoint and from an ISG standpoint. Canada continues to be a growing region. We have more than 300 people working in the Canadian region alone. Genentech Roche is one of a top 3 accounts for Cigniti, and this is an account again based out of Canada. We have again significant names like Aviva. We've recently gone into Laurentian Bank and other public sector companies for that we have added into our kitty. I just want to do a quick detour and an important digression from a Cigniti standpoint. This is something that is core to our value system and to our being. Right from as much as we are passionate about solving client problems, we are equally hungry and passionate about giving back to the society. And in this aspect, in this endeavor, we started something called Project Significance, Significance with a C, to positively impact the underprivileged kids in India. This is an education initiative that we have taken up right from 2012, and through this we have partnered with organizations like Khan Academy. We have created thousands of videos relevant to the Indian context and impacted students in their learning abilities. We adopted schools, we partnered with several organizations to provide lab equipment, teaching equipment and so on, and all this has resulted in very positive outcomes for a lot of underprivileged children in India. Last year we also saw a need for contributing to the healthcare aspect, purely considering the COVID aspect, and we had an opportunity to contribute to the Chief Minister Relief Fund for fighting COVID in India, and we have also contributed a lot of valuable equipment for hospitals, underprivileged hospitals, equipment such as X-ray machines, ECG machines, sterilizing equipment, masks and so on, and this has really helped people fight COVID, especially in the underprivileged areas. So now that you know who we are and what we do, I also wanted to touch upon some initiatives that are in progress that make us future ready. The last 2 years has simply accelerated the inevitable, and COVID has pushed all organizations, if not most organizations, if not all, to go digital, and there is mass digital adoption as well as real practical applications of AI, ML, 5G and so on. And Cigniti was well positioned pre-COVID and also continues to capitalize on the investments that it has done during COVID and will continue to progress as we go along in the future. So these are some of the numbers that we think substantiate our beliefs in making the investments for the future. Let's take a look at a few of them. We think independent is relevant. We call ourselves an independent testing services company, but with a different definition. We call ourselves independent and integrated. We are integrated with the SDLC, with the overall SDLC, regardless of how many service providers exist, and within a client ecosystem, and regardless if the client is agile or DevOps. And the old misnomer that independent testing is incongruent is simply not true, just because of the manner that we engage. The second one is digital complexity. Just to finish on the independent testing, it is a $17.5 billion market and growing, and it is business as usual for us. So we will certainly be making all the relevant moves to ensure that we capitalize on that data point. The second point, of course, is digital complexity. We are talking about cloud, mobile, data and analytics, which is probably old news, but if you mix the likes of wearables, AR, VR, and all the new things coming into digital, it takes the digital complexity to the nth level. And now, because of all the complexity, the next generation testing, we believe that 85% of that will come through digitally complex applications, and we are a company that wants to capitalize on this trend as well. Third one is 5G. 5G, we've been hearing about 5G for a while now, but it is getting real. At least in our experience, we've seen a lot of companies wanting their applications to be 5G enabled and 5G ready. And the 5G market itself, according to many data sources, is more than $600 billion in size. The number that we see here, 5G testing, $2.2 billion, it is probably inaccurate, but we think the market is several times larger than what you see here, the $2.2 billion. And we are a company that has already started investing into the 5G assurance market. Cloud, cloud is old news, but like Bernie was mentioning, it doesn't make it any easy to manage complex cloud migration challenges with so many hyperscalers wanting to eat each other's market, with enterprises trying to move from one cloud to another, hybrid cloud and so on. So this is a place where there is enough market for a focused player like Cigniti to play at, and we are making investments into this space. The push for enterprise automation is also getting real, and Cigniti being very proactive in its test automation approach, we think it is a natural extension to what we are already doing, and the market is really big, and areas such as RPA have been growing really well for Cigniti, and this is an area we are certainly investing into. Lastly, focus and expertise. This is again, independent testing market is growing at 19% year on year, and it is again a very strong play for us, and we will certainly continue to invest in areas of strength. So continuing on the rationale and philosophy, these are the new age service offerings that we started investing into. While continuous testing has been core of what we have been doing for the last 5 years, DevOps is something that we want to spread our wings to support end-to-end DevOps transformation, including things like orchestration of delivery pipelines, infra management, and organizing production feedback. So this is something that we have already started doing, and I will also touch upon one case study as we progress. 5G, we are one of the first companies to launch 5G assurance service offering. We have partnered with a company called Innovate 5G it is a live lab, and we have an opportunity to simulate enterprise applications on a real 5G network as opposed to being on a simulator. So this is what the Innovate 5G lab enables us to do, and we have several applications of this offering, such as measuring latency, measuring digital experience on 5G, enabling 5G, enabling applications for being 5G ready, and so on. And we have also invested in our own internal tool called Insight.ai. This is again backed by AI-based digital experience. This is a digital experience platform backed by AI. The third one, cloud migration, I touched upon it. Regardless of hyperscaler, Cigniti provides fast, secure and smooth cloud migration assurance services of its applications through its certified qualified professionals. And I already touched upon an example with Southwest Airlines, where we help them do cloud migration for one of the largest programs for cloud migration from Sabre to Amadeus, and also their ETL program. The last one is RPA. We not only do bot development and testing services for RPA, but we are also designing and orchestrating bots and striving to become a trusted partner for ISG Automation Group, and make all the necessary and strategic investments. We also saw our RPA practice grow from less than $1 million to more than $10 million in the last 18 months, and we will continue to see this trend as we progress along. I also want to touch upon a few case studies, that touches upon some of the service offerings that we already started venturing out into. Subway, it has been an existing client for a long time now for Cigniti. In fact, Subway was one of the case studies in the previous EPS sessions in one of the breakout rooms. Subway traditionally is a waterfall, adopts waterfall model, surprisingly, and they have been forced to adopt a DevOps model based on the ecosystem and based on the vendors that they're working with. And Cigniti has proactively helped Subway in their automation journey. Some of the case studies include scenarios such as POS automation, pin pad automation. In fact, we did a very innovative and unique automation for their pin pad scenarios, where we used our Lego expertise and created a robotic hand to automate the pin pad entry of data on the pin pad. And some of these initiatives have helped Subway reduce their efforts almost to the tune of 65% in certain projects. It has reduced deployment time from several minutes to less than 10 minutes, and also reduced their infrastructure spin-up time from several hours to 5G assurance. I already touched upon this, but there is a unique challenge for enterprises to ensure that the quality of the application is impeccable on both public and private networks, and the use cases for 5G are endless. And we work with several telecom providers at Cigniti, and we have used some of the trends and expertise from the clients to create a SaaS-based tool called Insight.ai, and we used Insight.ai and also the need for the market, such as 5G ideation and advisory, network assurance, 5G optimization, 5G experience assurance, and 5G security testing, and also partnered with Innovate 5G to help simulate the applications on a live 5G network. And we are taking this to companies. We are already piloting this with companies who have committed themselves to ensure that 5G really matters for their end users. For example, if you take an Apple phone, they say that 5G works better on Apple devices. Or if you take the use case of Meta, they would want their applications to be 5G enabled. So we are taking this 5G assurance service model and piloting it at customers who have committed 5G to their end users. RPA, we have Rent-A-Center, which is one of our flagship accounts as well. We have been working with Rent-A-Center for several years now. It is more than 7 years that we have been working with, and it is a proactive initiative from Cigniti that we have taken it to Rent-A-Center. We noticed that there are a lot of inefficiencies in the back office of Rent-A-Center, especially creating basic stuff like PO creation, invoicing, and basic administration problems were actually reflecting back on the inefficiencies of the back office were actually reflecting on the feet on the street sales guys. They were, instead of facing the customer, they were working on things like invoicing and other things. And we saw this as an opportunity to do a comprehensive analysis with both the business process team and as well as the technical teams. And then we created relevant bots, about 30 bot processes, and also created a scorecard based framework. We used Automation Anywhere to implement the 30 bots that I'm talking about. And we reduced about 600,000 of manual hours to about 46,000 bot hours to ensure and improve efficiency for Rent-A-Center. And the manual intervention also significantly reduced, and it reduced about 5%. If I don't talk about Blue Swan, which is our flagship platform, since inception we have invested millions of dollars into IP, and we always aspire to be an IP-led testing services company. And our flagship product Blue Swan has several components. It has proprietary tools, it has assets and frameworks to be ahead of the curve and client and solve client problems and challenges. I wouldn't be talking about every single tool and asset here, but there are two new additions into the Blue Swan platform, which is Insta, which is our scriptless platform, AI-based scriptless platform, and also Insight.ai, which is our digital customer experience monitoring platform that we have launched very recently and have applied patents for. With that, I will now talk about Atom Bank. And before I call upon Paul Trotter, the Deputy CTO at Atom Bank, just a quick intro about Atom Bank. We've been working with them for about 7 years now. In spite of they having a tier 1 vendor, Cigniti was brought in as a specialist testing vendor, and it is a digital only bank, and at that point in time was targeted at the millennials. But with COVID, there's mass adoption of all digital banks at this point in time, and it was also one of the fastest banks to go from license to launch. And instead of me talking about Cigniti's journey with Atom Bank, I would request Paul Trotter to come up on the stage and talk about his journey with Cigniti. And I request Paul to come on the stage, please.
So for those of you who don't know Atom, we're based in the northeast of England. We were founded in 2013. We are an app-only bank, which means we literally only have one channel. Our website's static and that type of stuff, so the only way to transact with us is actually through the app. Our contact center effectively teaches you how to use the app if you need help on it and everything else on your phone. We went live with savings in November 2015 and mortgages a year later, and then we also now offer business banking secured loans. The original bank was built based on third-party products, COTS, off-the-shelf products, a combination of those. It was hosted in a data center, a third-party's data center for us, and they also provided the service management. So the Atom technology team was actually very small, as you'd expect, and all change was delivered through a number of third parties. We found this very expensive and slow is probably the best way of phrasing it. Just trying to do all that coordination, it's just frankly a bit of a nightmare. So we took the very brave decision to just rebuild the bank and almost start again. So we've rebuilt the bank, but we've built it in the cloud in GCP. We've moved to cloud native products, so we haven't just lifted and shifted, we've actually done a true migration in that sense. We've built out the Atom technology team and brought it in-house so that we could actually drive and deliver that change for our customers. So like the analogy that we had at the time when we were talking about it is, effectively, we're trying to change an engine of a plane while it's in flight. So we managed it. We are now 100% in the cloud, and we never ended up in any press, which I think for a migration program is actually a sign of success more than anything else. People also got a new app as part of it, a new look, feel and everything else, and the app was about 10 times quicker, and it was consistent in terms of throughput as well. So Cigniti, they've been with us on all this journey. So they've been through 3 RFPs. So they've been reselected twice. So the first time was obviously for the original bank, working on the COTS. The second one was for the migration, and then the third one is obviously for the bank that we've got today that we're So we take advantage of the fact that they've got some DevOps resources in Hyderabad, and helps us from a test perspective just in working with the time zones and stuff. But I think ultimately the success of the journey is to date is down to testament to the holistic value that they bring consistently to Atom. So in terms of like themes and that talent and tools, I mean they're clearly, obviously good at testing, and they've obviously clearly got some great tools like the Blue Swan stuff. But the true sort of way in which you can measure it from our perspective is our defect seepage into production is 0.02%, which is, you know, well better than the average of what you would get in general. And we've actually massively increased the volume of change that we make. So last year we did 62 app releases. So compared to in 2019 when we did 11. And that defect seepage and the amount of changes and the functionality has led us to be able to get App Store ratings of 4.8 and 4.7 in Apple and Google. But they've also, there's a collaboration culture. So Cigniti, they're very, very transparent, which is great because I can then do something with it. So if they've got a problem, they'll come and talk to us, and we can then jointly work out how do we go about fixing it. So that's they don't go and squirrel it away and just try and work out what's the best way to go and get around it. Ideation and innovation. So they look for, listen to and respond to challenges to achieve like optimal results. As you'd expect, we've had a number of discussions, politely put, over the number of years, because just the duration that we've been together, but they always respond positively to it. So for example, we challenged them on the regression approach that we had as part of the migration. And what they did is they changed the mix of the team to being more technical people. They built a 14,000 strong automation suite which ran overnight, which then basically changed it from being a 10-day process, heavily manually intensive, to this overnight process, which has then enabled all those app releases to be able to go out. Commercials. So clearly we have a contract, but neither of us look at it. And that's probably the best thing I can say in lots of ways. When there's a problem, regardless of whether it's finances, whether it's resource, whether it's quality, whatever it might be, they just talk to us. It's very, very trust-based. There's no blame in any way, shape, form, and it's just worked through in terms of how do we go and get that resolved, which is just key, rather than actually on the quiet going and changing a few resources or changing the mix on me, or just going and creating loads of CRs that I then have to go and manage the workload through. So it's actually really, really helpful in that sense. But whilst we are talking about the commercials, one thing we do observe is about the Cigniti staff on the ground. They're very delivery focused, which is a positive, but it does mean that they aren't naturally thinking about sales. So if you're after something new, you have to physically go to them and ask them, do you offer this? Because sometimes you can end up going out to the wider world and actually it's actually available for you through Cigniti, and you just simply don't need to. Employee experience. Their staff, they clearly like working for Cigniti because they stay working for Cigniti. So there's a number of people who've been with us all the way through the journey, and even on the different types of work that we've been doing. So that helps massively just from an understanding of why we might be doing something, and actually the journeys and everything else. It's not a constant relearning with them. So it's a big plus from our perspective. They also spend time training their staff, rather than just going, oh, they're chargeable. They'll take them out and train them regularly, and they'll train them on the Atom stack. So recently they've trained them on our logging, monitoring, alerting tool, which is called Datadog, which is quite a cool name. And it's, but they've gone and done that themselves just so that they can improve their defect analysis in non-production and understand what's taking place better. ESG, they don't just care about their people, they care about the communities and everything else where they live and work. Their corporate social responsibility initiatives with the underprivileged schools and hospitals, they truly make a difference. I was actually on that video, but I went to one of the schools and I opened up a computer lab and gave the people, the students, the books and everything else, and it's truly inspiring and humbling when you're doing it, and I mean I'm very, very impressed with what they do and what the difference that they make in that sense. And then joint success. Cigniti, they feel and they actually believe that they can only be successful if Atom is successful, and that's amazing from our perspective. So that means it comes from every member of staff. It's not something that management have told them you must do, which just leads to them being remarkably, sometimes ridiculously flexible and just helpful. And you wouldn't know whether a person was an Atom person or a Cigniti person. They are as focused as we are on achieving the outcomes for our customers, which is great.
In summary, I just want to quickly wrap up on why somebody like ISG and why clients should partner with us. We are a company that, in the previous EPS also I mentioned, we are not a testing also company, we are a testing only company, but now we have also graduated from being testing only to focusing on quality-led digital assurance. That is our core focus, and we will continue to make investments into that. We are a company that we believe and we want to be IP-led testing services company, and we are investing several $1 million to ensure that our Blue Swan platform is ahead of the curve and is delivering value for our clients in terms of their digital initiatives. We thrive in a multi-vendor environment. Like I mentioned, all the MSAs that we have are directly with the client, and we work with several vendors, several system integrators, and very complex organizations with ever-changing dynamics. And lastly, it is underrated, but we also listen to our clients. We listen to their problems, and we truly empathize and associate with the challenges that they have, and truly work on making a partnership successful, be it with the clients or be it with ISG. In fact, we had good collaboration examples with ISG, and I think these are some of the reasons why clients like us, and we continue to grow our business.
Unmatched testing expertise, collaboration and listening skills. Think about that, really, really important. And I think you heard Paul mention this from Atom Bank, the people that these guys have are amazing. They're amazing. You've met them, continue to meet them today. And I think it's really, really important. It's really, really important.